Xbox has a round of layoffs, and so of course the social media bros, the gaming journalists out there, they're freaking out. They're saying stuff like Xbox is over. Xbox is dead. Xbox has made some huge mistakes here. Have they? Have they, or is this a natural business cycle? Have they, or if this just what every other company is doing post-COVID, and that is restructuring, and that is adjusting from the post-COVID boom that exists. For instance, Sony, EA, Embracer, Take-Two, etc., etc. Everybody, it would be different if Microsoft was the only one doing this, but Microsoft isn't the only one doing this, or Xbox isn't the only one doing this. We're going to go over everything today. All you need to know is Xbox is not dying or dead. Nothing has changed from yesterday to today. The only thing is that a bunch of layoffs were made, and top line TLDR, they're trimming fat. They're trimming middle management, essentially. They're getting rid of a lot of those positions. Total, that equals less than 4% from Xbox. Less than 4%, affects less than 4% from Xbox. That's at least according to reports as of right now. So a lot of the headlines out there are scary, layoffs, there's a perfect dark cancellation, but that doesn't mean that Xbox is collapsing. And anyone saying that, anyone suggesting that, you should unfollow immediately. And that's just the nature of the social media world that we live in. Nobody has a long-term outlook. Everybody looks at the now. So bad news happened now. That means it's the end of the world. And remember a week ago? Remember 2 weeks ago? Remember a month ago when it was World War III? Guys, where's World War III? Are we here? It's because everybody operates in the now, including gaming journalists who absolutely should not. We're going to go over some of their takes as well, and why I think ultimately they're just disappointing, and a lot of it is virtue signaling, like, oh, this is just terrible. I'm so sad. For my condolences to everyone that's lost. F Xbox. Like, okay, bro, that tells me nothing. That's not a take, dude. That's just virtue signaling. Let's go over it today. We're going to jump through it. Right here is where you get a grounded take on this. We try to have a long-term perspective. Now, some of you might be saying, well, you're just a corporate Xbox shill. Okay, I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. What does this look like in the bigger picture here? Is this an outlier? Is Xbox the only one doing this, or is this a trend industry-wide? If it is a trend industry-wide in the tech space, in the gaming space, why is that existing? Is it because corporations are bad and evil, or is there actual reasoning behind it? Is it because all the leadership at these companies suck? Or is there reasoning? Is there market reasonings behind there? Are we living through a giant disruption in gaming? Hint, that's a big part of the answer here. Let's jump into it, though. We'll go over the article. I'll share with you some tweets. I'll share with you a tweet that I dropped earlier today. Just the out of control, dumb takes here. And in doing so, let's keep in mind this, because some big numbers are thrown out there. Oh, 70 people from this studio, 100 people from here, 200 people from here. And those numbers sound big. But keep in mind, Microsoft is a 250,000 employee company. Xbox, just the Xbox side, is over 20,000 employees. That puts it in perspective there. And you can see, oh, This is just them trimming bloat. This is just them trimming middle management bloat. And Phil Spencer says that. And everybody wants to try to make a big deal about this. Oh, this is Satya Nadella coming in and handcuffing Phil Spencer because the merger with Activision Blizzard brought eyeballs on it. No, this is a normal business practice. Like that's maybe fun to think about. But oftentimes it is exactly what they're saying it is. And Phil Spencer has said what it is. And so we're going to discuss that today. Before we jump into it, though, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. If you enjoy what we're doing here, if you like people with longer term visions and that don't fall for the now constantly. This is like the 5th time in the last 2 years that we've been through this kind of everyone freaking out in the Xbox space and the gaming space overall. Oh my goodness. You don't need to freak out. Come here. Come to this channel. Also, but if you like that grounded real world take, consider becoming a member. Consider supporting the show financially. Become a member. You get a loyalty badge. You get some sweet emotes. I appreciate everybody who has become a member recently. Very much appreciate you. You can use those custom emotes when we live stream. So stay tuned for those live streams upcoming. Okay. Here we go. This is PureXbox.com. Xbox layoffs begin as Phil Spencer shares internal Microsoft gaming update. Now, there's some top line things that have happened today. Perfect Dark is being canceled. The initiative is being shut down. Everwild is being canceled at Rare. Multiple studios suffer layoffs, including a reported 50% at Turn 10 Studios. Several unannounced projects also being canceled across the Xbox portfolio. This does not affect Xbox next-gen console plans. They're not affected by the Xbox layoffs. Also, they've confirmed that anything talked about in the Xbox Game Showcase is also not affected. Logical, right? Makes sense. No reason to freak out there. No reason to get worked up about that. I would like to talk about Perfect Dark here for a minute, since Perfect Dark is mentioned here. A lot of people are making a big deal about this, like, oh, Perfect Dark, here's one of those marquee games, marquee titles that were upcoming. Yes, a lot of people were really excited about it. A lot of people were excited about Perfect Dark, but I can see the reasoning here. Number one, if the studio is mismanaged, rumor was there was a lot of mismanagement in some of these studios, especially since they acquired Activision Blizzard. I don't think that the mismanagement caused the layoffs, but I think that these cuts were coming no matter what, because we're consolidating here. We are trying to become more efficient, and in doing that, if your studio is not ran efficiently, effectively, and you're missing deadlines and stuff, it's an easy call on what we're going to cut. The other thing on Perfect Dark that I never quite have understood, and it was going to be interesting to see. I was interested to see, okay, what do they do here? The reason the original Perfect Dark was so popular is because it was revolutionary for its time. Excuse me. And how was it revolutionary? If you remember, in the N64 days, Perfect Dark built off of its predecessor, which was GoldenEye. GoldenEye kind of set the groundwork of this kind of multiplayer game. And what Perfect Dark did was bring in, for instance, like AI NPCs that were really fun and adjusted to you and made it difficult. They brought in different multiplayer modes. They were revolutionary in that genre for their time. This Perfect Dark, my main question is, what does it do in this space that is revolutionary? Because that's what sets it apart. Now, maybe what sets it apart is its campaign. And that's fine. That could have been it. But that doesn't seem to be what necessarily fans were excited for. They were excited for the title Perfect Dark, not realizing that what made it so good in the first place was that it was groundbreaking. It was doing things that had never been done before in the space. The question has always been for me, what does it do in 2025 that is different? And if the answer is nothing, then that's a very crowded space to have success in. You've got Call of Duties in that space. You've got Fortnite's in that space. You've got tons and tons of really good established games that you've got to be revolutionary in. Like, what are you doing that's different, that's going to set you apart? And if the answer is nothing, also it makes sense why that's collapsing. That's the same with Everwild. Everwild, what is being done there that is appealing to me? Like, what is being done that's going to set you apart? And the answer is nothing. Then those make sense. I get that it's disappointing. Hey, we wanted to see what they were doing, but I can see that it makes sense, both of those games, in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree with that, though. Let me know if that's not the reason you were excited for Perfect Dark and you think that was a mistake. I don't think so. Here we go. Brace yourself, folks. This is PureXbox.com. Microsoft is in the midst of announcing another round of layoffs across multiple Xbox divisions. For now, Activision's King team and some of Bethesda's ZeniMax marketing team are seemingly effective, with Phil Spencer addressing impacted employees in a lengthy internal email. And here is Phil's full message on the job cuts below. Now, we're going to focus on this first paragraph here because this is the reason why. This is the only thing I'm concerned about. The second paragraph is, hey, you guys have played a key part of our team. Excuse me. We wish you luck. This sucks. This is always no fun. Here we go. Today we are sharing, this is from Phil Spencer. This is an email sent to his team. Today we are sharing decisions that will impact colleagues across our organization to position gaming for enduring success. And allow us to focus on strategic growth areas. What are the strategic growth areas? Anybody in the back of the class? Yes, that's right. Game Pass. Yes, you. That's right. Cloud gaming as well. That's it. So they want to allow us to focus on strategic growth areas in gaming. Mobile gaming is probably another one of that. Handheld gaming is probably another one there. We will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business To follow Microsoft's lead, Microsoft laid off, I think, was it 9,000 that was reported? Again, that sounds like a big number. Remember that Microsoft deploys 250,000. So that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. That's literally bloat. So we'll follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Layers of management. What is this? I'm translating this as middle management. As someone that works in the startup tech space, as someone that works in the mobile gaming space, I can tell you firsthand, and I've done it for multiple projects, I can tell you firsthand, middle management bloat can absolutely kill projects. It stagnates development. It makes it so that, hey, there's this issue that I see, that I recognize, that we have a solution for, that is coming from X, Y, or Z places. We need to do X, Y, or Z to fix it. Middle management means that there is you who maybe can address this problem, and then there's 5 people between you and the person who can make that final decision. And nothing happens because everybody in between you and that person has their pet projects. And unfortunately, in the tech space, it is very easy. I think just the way that it works, especially with how much money comes into the tech space, into the gaming space, I think it happens very quickly that middle management and bloat happens. And that's how I read this. We're removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Now, out of respect for those impacted today, the specifics of today's notifications and any organizational shifts will be shared by your team leaders in the coming days. And I think that's the why. Now, you could say that you think Phil Spencer is lying to you, which if he is, that's a whole other conversation and a whole other can of words. I have no reason to believe that this is inaccurate. In fact, this lines up perfectly with my own personal experience in the space, and it lines up perfectly with what other companies in the space are doing and have been doing for a while now. There was a post-COVID boom restructuring that has been happening in the last couple of years. I think this is a part of that. Not only that, we're living through a massive disruption in the gaming industry and in the tech industry between AI, cloud, subscription gaming, the access of gaming, where things are going with gaming, with not having to have hardware necessarily, with everybody looking for games as a service, with everybody looking to mobile gaming, et cetera, et cetera. Things are just changing. We're living through a massive disruption. With that change, some of this is we're going to change where we put our money. Just like he said, to position gaming for enduring success and allow us to focus on strategic growth areas. We will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business and follow Microsoft lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Any problems with that? That makes complete sense to me. Now, some of you will argue in fact, we were having a really good discussion over in my Discord. If you want to have really good discussions with interesting, intelligent people where nobody's yelling at each other, come join my Discord. It's down below. It's the X1 Bros Discord. It's my Discord. Link is in the description. But I was having a discussion there, and someone had pointed out, well, this doesn't. They were sharing some of those numbers. 70 people here, 200 people there, from these different studios, an entire studio. And he said, this doesn't seem like just cutting the fat. And again, out of context, I agree. Out of context, yeah, that those numbers seem really big. I mean, most of us work in an office with, 100 people or less. So you throw those numbers out there and whoa, Xbox is in trouble. But when you put that in context and you realize Microsoft has over 250,000 worldwide employees, I think it's actually closer to 280, if I'm not wrong. And just the Xbox division and first party studios is over 20,000. All of a sudden, these numbers make sense. And absolutely, it does look like what Phil Spencer is saying here makes sense. They're removing middle management bloat and making organizational shifts. Now, Perfect Dark was reportedly previous to this in a lot of trouble in development hell for years. Development hell, that's a word. That's a term. And so, again, it makes sense why you would get rid of that. Forza losing staff doesn't mean the franchise is dead. A lot of people are like, oh, the Forza franchise. No. I think it looks like Microsoft reallocating resources as priorities change. Also, I think Forza is one of those multi-year projects. I'm sure there were tons of positions. Incredibly successful studio, crushing it. They've got an established franchise there. Probably a lot of middle management in that studio with the success that they've had, no doubt. And for those of you that are like, no, I don't believe that at all. Let me remind you of Twitter. Twitter cut 75% of all of their employees. And everybody at the time, remember, lived in the now. That's it. It's over. Twitter's dead. It's never going to recover for this. Here we are. Not only did it recover, it's in the strongest place that it's ever been from both a financial, a user standpoint, feature standpoint, et cetera, et cetera. So I would just remind everybody of that. That's just how the tech space is. There's so much money in tech. There's so much money in gaming. It's easy to bloat. They quickly bloated, especially during the COVID boom. The COVID boom, when everybody got free money and everybody was buying games and spending money in games, studios and companies and tech companies hired a lot. And now we're paying for that. But it's not just that. I think actually the main thing is that we're living through this shift. With this, though, there was a lot of rumors here. One of those rumors is that Phil Spencer is retiring. Phil Spencer is not retiring. The Verge has confirmed, hey, this rumor is incorrect. This rumor started on Twitter. Phil Spencer is not retiring anytime soon, according to The Verge, Jay Peters, and Tom Warren. So if you see that rumor out there, you're incorrect. Now let's get to some of the crazy takes. And here is one of them. Kids move right here. Xbox, shut it all down. And this is what we're seeing everywhere. It's like this hatred towards Xbox. Xbox is incompetent. Phil Spencer and the leadership have made a mistake. Have they? Have they? How? Tell me how. Because they've had to let go of people? Is that a mistake, or is that just a normal business operation? Are they genuinely just cutting troubled projects? Are they genuinely just cutting, middle management, trying to get more efficient, reallocating resources? Is that bad decision making, or is that good decision making? We'll see. The beauty of this is we're all going to see. Just like a few weeks ago, it was World War III, and we all saw, hey, we're not in World War III now. Or a few years ago, it was Twitter's dead. And yet here we are. We're going to see. And we're going to see. This is kind of the common consensus. I think this is just virtue signaling. Here's what I wrote and responded here. Also follow me on Twitter, by the way. Plug in my Twitter. This is an emotionally charged and frankly dumb take. I get the anger around layoffs. They're brutal and real people are affected. But calls like this ignore the bigger picture. Layoffs aren't unique to Xbox. They're happening across gaming and tech. Rising costs, AI, cloud shifts, changing AAA expectations. The whole industry is under pressure, and I should add to that, changing. It's going through a massive disruption. We're living through a massive disruption in gaming. Social media lives in the now. Today, it's Xbox is doomed. Hence this post. Next month, everyone's hyped for the next game and forgets this ever happened. And honestly, a lot of the outrage feels like faux virtue signaling. Great for clicks, but rarely accurate or good analysis of what's actually happening. And I think that's unfortunate. But it's just the reality that we live in social media in 2025. The social media bros get out, they react. Who can be the first to react? Who can say the most hyperbolic thing to get as many clicks as possible? And there you go. Who can virtue signal? Guys, I'm going to show that I care about people. I care about people. F Xbox. Okay, bro. Like, that tells me nothing. Hey, good for you. Good for you. You don't think that Phil Spencer cares about people? No, he's part of the system, man. The system, man. Okay. You take that very lowbrow, uneducated, unthoughtful view of things. Now, there's a whole other discussion if these are the right moves, if Xbox has made mistakes. Is Xbox perfect? Xbox is not perfect. Absolutely not. Xbox has made lots of mistakes. Absolutely. Xbox in communication has made mistakes. 100%. I'm not saying any of that. I'm addressing this in the now. And this is just wrong. And this is a dumb take. 100%. Now let's get to takes from journalists. And these are two journalists that I very much respect. But I want to point something out, that these aren't additive to the conversation at all. This is Destin Legary, and I think Destin Legary, I would, if you haven't yet, go follow him on Twitter and go follow his YouTube account. I actually think he is one of the most independent thinkers in the journalist space. Most journalists, they put their finger in the air, in my opinion, and they follow whatever the crowds are saying. What are the social media bros? And they get wrapped up. I've seen them get wrapped up in the last 4 of these freaking crises that have popped up. They've been a part of it. Some of these journalists have fanned the flames. Destin Legary, I have found to be very level-headed and very independently think, and I don't find that he gets caught up in this. He did say this, though, today. He said, I think Microsoft is going hard on AI. They absolutely are. Microsoft, the company, is one of the top investors in AI. He says, I think Microsoft going this hard on AI this early could set them up for more future failures. It feels like they've been gutting the company in 2024 2025 in part because of a bet on AI. First of all, that it feels like this. That's a huge assumption here. He says it feels like the reason they're making these cuts is because of a bet on AI. I don't think that's the case. I think it is what they say it is. And I think that's a lot of bloat came up with that free COVID money, particularly in the tech space, particularly in the gaming space. So I don't know that that's necessarily true, but let's pretend that that is true. I don't think that this is an additive point at all. I think this is, again, there's a lot of projection of, I don't like AI I don't know if I'm putting words in Destin Legary's mouth. I shouldn't here. A lot of journalists don't like AI because, let's be honest, AI, for someone that this is what a typical gaming journalist or mainstream media journalist has went through. They went to school. They're really good at writing, really good in school. Great. They went to college, really good at writing, really good in school. Great. They went on to get a graduate degree, or sometimes they didn't. But they get that graduate degree or they don't. And what they do is they go straight into writing for a company. And they've not worked in the real world. I put in quotation marks. And all I mean by that is, have they been at a startup? Have they worked as a developer? Have they worked in the tech space? Have they worked in the startup tech space? But they're covering these things. And covering it full time gives you an insight into things, but it's a lot different. Those who don't do teach. It's kind of that philosophy in writing. I just don't think this is additive because you could do this with anything. I think they've gone too hard on Game Pass and they're setting themselves up for future failures. I think Xbox has gone too hard on the next gen console. It's going to set themselves up for failure. I think PlayStation has gone too hard on AAA games and it's going to set themselves up for future failure. I don't find this additive at all. I think that this is 100% speculation. And we're getting a lot of these from journalists. Again, Dustin Legary, I respect the hell out of him. And I think he is a independent thinker of all the journalists. The other one that I want to bring up is this. Again, I find this a little bit virtue signally and doesn't tell me a lot here. Like, I want to know why. Why do you think this is happening? Is Phil Spencer telling the truth or is he not? Just tell me that. If he is telling me the truth and you're an insider in journalist as the head of Windows Central, then why not say that? Like, this is accurate. This seems to be where they're going. Don't freak out. Why don't they? And I think it's because it clicks. I think it's because, again, we stick our finger and see where the wind is taking us. Here's what Jez Corden has to say. Remember, he's the editor at Windows Central. Again, does a good job most of the time. Sometimes, though, I do think he gets caught up in the social media bro life. It's ugly to take victory laps when people are losing their jobs, and even uglier to call for Xbox to shut down, given there's thousands employed there for better or worse. Yeah, right. Those who are saying, like, Xbox should just shut down. You're laying off people. Xbox should shut down. So instead of a few hundred people, let's even say a few thousand, you're going to have 20,000 plus people laid off. Makes a lot of sense, dude. Makes a lot of sense. Way to virtue signal there, bro. So I agree with Jez Corden on that 100%. This is the part that I have questions on. It's Microsoft's top down that needs to change. Okay, the leadership. And its attitude to its customers and employees. Elaborate for me. What attitude? Like, what is the attitude? Okay, I don't know the inside. So attitude towards his employees, I will give you that. I will say, yep, they are toxic towards their employees. Maybe their attitude, they see them as disposable. Excuse me, blah, blah, blah. But I'm a customer. I'm a customer of Xbox. And I don't see where they need to change. In my viewpoint, I'm very satisfied with the Xbox product in 2025. I'm extremely excited for the future games that are coming. I'm extremely excited about the acquisitions and moves that they've made. I'm extremely excited about the future of Game Pass. I'm extremely excited about the partnership that is upcoming with ROG Ally X in the handheld space. I'm very excited to see what next generation console is. I haven't been this excited about Xbox since the Xbox 360 days. I think Xbox, and I feel that as an Xbox customer, that they are moving the ball forward in ways and in an aggressiveness that I haven't seen since, again, the early Xbox days. So please tell me, what is it that you're referring to here? Like, give the people who should be giving us extra insight aren't, and that's my point. Instead, they're kind of like, this is a nothing burger post again that's being put up here. Overall, I just think I think it's a lot of virtue signaling. I think it's a lot of moral hand wringing. I think that there are people that don't understand or aren't thinking logically. I think Xbox gaming revenue remains at records high. This is not a bankruptcy scenario at all. AI and tech advances mean fewer people can do more. So naturally, there's going to be staff reductions there, particularly in roles that could be automated. No surprise there. I think the Xbox's dead crowd is ignoring ultimately the reality that Microsoft is committed to next generation consoles and Game Pass. There's more subscribers than ever. There's more people playing their games than ever before. I think the fan outrage is understandable. Nobody wants to see that. But I think both influencers and journalists are milking views by exaggerating the crisis and living in the now. And I think that for a lot of them, they genuinely believe that because they're wrapped up in the now. I think that it's always tragic when layoffs happen. There's a real human cost, but that's different from Xbox being over. That's different from Xbox leadership is terrible. I would argue if I was a current employee at Xbox on one of these teams that is pushing the ball forward, on one of these teams that is really focused on bringing Game Pass everywhere, really focused on getting the cloud technology to a point where you can stream straight to your television, that, hey, I'm happy that I'm not happy that people are getting laid off, but I'm thankful that the leaders at my company are willing to make the tough decisions to ensure that we can succeed, that my department can succeed. And nobody is talking about that. That's the reality. That's the tough decisions that have to be made. It's not like these guys are evil and are thinking, okay, how can we screw people over here? I just think, I think mostly the industry is correcting from the pandemic excesses of free money. I don't think it's unique to Xbox. Clearly, we've seen it's not unique to Xbox. On top of that, I think we're living through a giant disruption. And Xbox is preparing for that disruption. Indeed, I think Xbox is leading that disruption. I think PlayStation is. I think Nintendo is. I think lots of studios, all the biggest studios out there are as well. And I think Xbox and Microsoft will not only survive this disruption, I think have a chance to corner the market and dominate this generation in a way that we haven't seen ever, including the Xbox 360 days where they had a ton of success. I would love to know what you guys think, though. Where am I right? Where am I wrong? What am I missing? Am I oversimplifying things? Am I missing? I recognize I have biases. Of course, everybody does. I recognize that my viewpoint, there may be holes in it. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I do think where I am absolutely not wrong is that social media bros get caught up in the now and they don't have a long-term perspective on anything. And that's not going to change anytime soon. And so if you like at least long-term discussions, maybe you don't agree with me on everything, but you like long-term viewed discussions, trying to go a little bit deeper than what is just being said on social media, top high level, 50,000 look view. And you want to ask, well, wait a minute, why is this happening? Instead of just raging and virtue signaling, yeah, we get it. Layoffs are bad. Yes, nobody doesn't think that. So, you saying that and raging online doesn't do anything for us. Let's talk about why. And then if you get to the why, you can now ask the question, okay, does that why make sense? And with that why, are these the right moves? Based on what we know so far, without as of right now, with no other information, it looks to me like they are. Remember, Twitter, 75% reduction in staff. Better off than they've ever been. I think we're going to see more of that in tech. We're going through this transitionary period. We're going through a major disruption in all of tech. I think AI is a disruptive technology. And there's more cloud. Cloud is a disruptive technology as well on top of that. Again, let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for listening to me rant here and go through this. Again, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Consider becoming a member if you enjoy videos like this. Hit the join button below. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.